sorted itself. So I'm recording this. We may well put it on Discord for future reference. So
Richard, when you post your recordings, do you post them on Discord or do you post them somewhere else totally? Because I'm looking for them and I can't find them.
To be fair, I think I've been posting them on Facebook, in the Facebook group. I need to get I need to also put them in Discord. I think Paul puts his in Discord, doesn't he? And I think I need to catch up with that. Right, okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to, as I say, I'm conscious that there are some new people, so I'm going to be looking at sort of back to basics, if you like. So bear with me. Right. I'm trying to share the screen, but it's sharing the wrong screen. So if you bear with me 1 second. And just put that back up there. I will be with you in a second. Bear with me. Share screen. Right. Okay. So you should very shortly be able to see my Euro US dollar screen on the 15-minute chart. Can somebody confirm that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
yeah, I can see it.
Good. So since we're starting from scratch, working back to basics, at Crossfire 1 till 3 p.m. UK time, there are 4 Forex pairs that we look at in particular. This is down to the fact that there's a crossover between the London market, which is already open, and the New York market, which is about to open. And generally, there's some price manipulation goes on, some price adjustment goes on to get price to where the big boys want price to be for the opening of New York. It can happen any time between 1 and 3. Generally, it happens around about 1:30, 2 o'clock-ish. But we look at the chart from 1 p.m. UK time. If you want to look at some alternative Forex pairs, Crossfire can apply, or does apply, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. UK time. And it's a different 4 pairs. And this is down to the handover from the Asian market to the London market. And similar manipulation goes on at around about that time. I'm going to show you some of the trades that were possible this morning because we had a really good morning on Crossfire today. And so when we get time, we'll have a look at some of the results that were available on that. Any questions so far? We're looking at these 4 pairs, and we're going to look at them from, well, generally, we wait until the 1 minute, wait until the 1 o'clock candle closes before we start to look at either a buy or a sell. So I'm going to remove these. So if anybody wants to take a screenshot, do so now. Okay, take those out of the way. And we're looking at, just need to move you guys out of the way. That's better. So looking at Euro USD, what I've done, I've stripped it back to a naked chart. The only thing I've added to the naked chart, the 15-minute chart, is 2 trend lines. I've got 1 green and 1 red. The green is above the current price, the red is below the current price. The theory being that at 1:15, when this 1 o'clock candle closes, we're going to put these 2 trend lines in position, and we're going to look for, when price gets above the green line, we're going to be looking at getting in for a buy. when price drops below the red line, we're going to be looking at getting in for a sell. So I've already got those marked up on the four pairs. There's no point in getting them any closer right now because there's quite a lot of movement going on. So we'll wait until 15 minutes pass before we put those in place. But those are the four pairs that we're concentrating on this afternoon. And GBP card. Now, just as an additional, just need to move this out of the way, bear with me. I noticed before I came on, I looked at the harmonic scanner and for some reason it's logged me out. But there is a scan on one of the pairs that we're looking at. So if I look at price feeds, go to Oanda and go to Ava Trade. There is a scan on Euro CAD, which is one of the pairs that we're looking at, and that's showing me that price is expected to go down. So there's another clue for us. If we get time, we'll maybe look at this in a bit more detail. But I'm going to go back to GBP card. There we go. And so what we do is we put these in place at 15 minutes past, and then we drop down to a lower time frame, either the 5 minute, or if you want, you can also have a look at the 2 minute. We'll do that in a few minutes time. In the meantime, I'm going to look at what happened this morning. So this is Euro, or actually I won't start with that one. I'll start with Euro NZD, and this was that was the 6 o'clock candle. So I put the trend lines in place, and on that candle there, we dropped below the red line. So we were looking for potential sells, and I put a marker on my entry point. I put my stop loss at the previous candle. Now that was 7.7 pips stop loss, but we were. I need to look. I look at the lower time frame. I look at the 5 minute time frame. So it was on that candle there that you could have got in. That was 10 past 7, and if we look at this in real time, there would have been a red line here, which would have been an engulfing candle. I'll put the straightforward Forex on. There was the engulfing candle. You could have got in on that candle or the next candle, but in any event, there was potential of 1, 2, 3, 4, risk to reward of 1 to 4. Now, if I'd been trading that live, I would probably have got out either at 1% or 2%. I'm just making it clear that the potential was there to take 4% if you were risking 1%. It did at a later stage go down even further, but this was sort of 9 o'clock-ish. I would have been off the charts by then. I would have taken maybe 2% on this one. But potentially there was 4% or risk to reward of 1 to 4 on that one. GBP AUD, 5 minute chart. This was a potential buy. There was a stop loss of 5.1 pips going down to, that must have been there must have been a bullish engulfing candle. Oh, there was a bull engulfing candle there. So my stop loss was at that point, and that went to 4, another 4. I didn't mark it as a 4 because I think I broke my own rules there on the 2-minute chart. If I can find it. On the 2-minute chart, I think I got in a little bit early, so I didn't count the full 4% there. But certainly there was potential for 4%, maybe call it 3% to be on the safe side. So that's 7, 4 plus 3 will be 7. GPP, NZD, there was a 5 pip stop loss, and that went down to 1 to 5. So that's plus 12. And then I stayed on a little bit. The reason I left this one till last was this didn't occur until after 8 o'clock. The move started just after 8 o'clock. So technically it's not a crossfire trade, but it is a crossfire pair, and using the strategy, price went above the green line, and it went to 1 to 3, risk to reward of 1 to 3, almost, well, instant, within 30 minutes, I think it was 20 minutes. It went up to 3. I would certainly have got out at that stage. I probably would have got out at 2%. If we'd stayed in even longer, there was a lot more potential as well. I'll just, if we drag that up there, you're looking at approximately 5 risk to reward there. But that's just potential. I'm not saying that I took those. I'm not saying I would have taken all 4 pairs. In real life, I would only take 1 GBP pair, and I would only take 1 euro pair. Anybody got any questions on that before I go to this afternoon's charts? Okay, so I'm now looking. I'm going to take off the remove the straightforward Forex for now. So we're back to a nice clean chart. We now got a 1 o'clock candle which is closed. So this green candle is a 1 o'clock candle. And what we need to do is go to the top of that candle and look left for the next high. Now that's that red, the very next candle. What I normally do is I put the magnet tool on and drag this somewhere close to it, and it should snap to the top of that wick. You see how it snapped to the top of the wick? And then I drag, move that. That snapped. Just need to reduce the length of this. So then I need to drag that down to touch the top of the 1 o'clock. Actually, I'm misleading you. I need to be on the 15-minute chart to do this. So that's at the top of the 1 o'clock candle. There we go. So just to clarify, because I've made a bit of a mess of that. We've got the 1 o'clock candle, which is that red candle there, which has got a wick above the candle. So when we look left, probably going to have to move that. Yeah, the one to the left is just about the same height as that one. So I'm looking even further left, and I'm looking at that candle there. So if I place that there and then drag this down to touch the top of the 1 o'clock candle, got there eventually. So top of the 1 o'clock candle, look left for a higher high, and that's it there. And we do this on the 15-minute chart. So there's the 1 o'clock candle, there's the bottom of the wick. I look left, and the next lower low is the immediate one to the left. So put that on there and drag that up so that it touches the bottom of the wick on the 1 o'clock candle. So need to ask, because I made a bit of a mess of that initially, does everybody understand what I've done? Any questions, just shout. So we do that.
Yes, I understand what you've done.
Okay, that's great. Euro card will do the same. So that was the 1 o'clock candle there. We look to the left and that red candle there is slightly higher. So drag that over there. That's touching the top of the wick on the 1 o'clock candle. This is the bottom of the wick on the 1 o'clock candle. Look to the left, the one immediately next to it. And then we need to drag that up. That's going to be quite a steep. Very steep. So that's now touching the bottom of that wick. Actually, I'm using the wrong candle. That's that wick there. So that's touching the top of that one and touching the top of the 1 o'clock. That's touching the bottom of that one and the bottom of the 1 o'clock. GBP USD. That's the 1 o'clock candle. If I look to the left, it's that one there. Drag that down. The bottom of the 1 o'clock candle, look to the left, it's that one there. These don't have to be 100% accurate. That's as near as we need it to be. GBP card, 1 o'clock candle, look to the left, it's that one there. One o'clock candle, look at the bottom of the wick, look to the left, it's there. So we've now got all 4 pairs marked up on the 15-minute chart. What we need to do now is drop down to the 5-minute at least. You can drop down to the 2-minute if you like, but just looking at this now, this price is broken above the green line. So we're potentially looking for a buy. Now this candle has got 2.5 minutes to this 250, 249 to go. So it's not ready to close yet. So I would wait until that candle closed. I would want to see the green candle close above the green line before I think about getting in. But I need to look at some other information. So straightforward Forex. I've changed my settings, some of my settings to fall in line with Paul's. Paul did a great video yesterday. He's actually using the 200 moving average. So I've changed. I used to use the 55, but I've changed mine to the 200. What am I looking at? I'm looking at wave up. There's a wave up occurred, and that's contradicting the super trend. The super trend is still red. So we need wave up and super trend up to confirm that we should be getting in for a buy. But that might happen on the next candle. It's trying to happen now, but I won't rush in because there's lots of time. The thing about this strategy is you don't rush in, because it can price can try to fool you, and this price might break out and tempt you into a buy, and then it might go down. So you just need to sit on your hands for a few minutes until everything falls into place. Whilst I'm waiting for that candle to finish, I'm going to look at the other three pairs. So GBP US dollar, that is still in what I call no man's land. You see this wedge that's formed by the green line and the red line. Price is still within that area there, and I don't ever get into a trade when price is in no man's land. Once it gets past the crossover, then we might consider getting into a buy or a sell in that wedge, but I won't consider getting in for either when it's in that wedge on prior to the crossover. So there's nothing there for me right now. What I'm looking for is price either breaking above the green line or below the red line before I get tempted to get in. So Euro card. Right, okay. So price is actually trying to break above the green line. That candle is now closed above the green line. My thoughts about that are that it's actually on the red line. Now, this red line can act as a barrier. So price might try and break above that red line, and it might reject, it might bounce off it. So again, I'm not going to get in. We're looking at, we've got a wave up, we've got a super trend, green super trend pointing upwards. We've got the green wave, we've got the green PSARs below the price. So everything's saying we should be thinking about a buy, but price is getting stuck in that wedge. I want it to get out of that wedge before I consider getting in. This is providing some resistance to price. Price might bounce off that. So again, I'm not going to get in. Euro US, now that's very clearly still in the wedge. Hasn't gone above the green, it hasn't gone below the red. So I'm not interested. I need to go back to the one I was looking at, GBP card. Right, so it did try and break, it did wick up right up there. And then it's come back to retest this green line. It's not even 130, which reminds me I need to look at the news. I should have looked at the news before I started. Forex Factory is showing no news for either US dollar or Canadian dollar until 3 p.m. There's some high impact news. It's a speech, or it's a testimony from Fed Chair Powell. Now that might mean that any big moves, any price manipulation might be, they might do it at 3 o'clock rather than 1:30. There's nothing happening at 1:30 on any of the pairs, which is slightly worrying for me. Economic calendar, just to see if they've got a different view of things. You know, they're looking at low impact news for the US dollar, all low impact news, and again they've got the high impact news at 3 o'clock. There's nothing on the Canadian dollar at all. So I suspect that the big move might occur around about 3 o'clock rather than 1:30. 1:30 is normally the time that we see a move, but you can't force price. 3 o'clock looks like the time when they might make the manipulation happen. So we could be waiting a while. Let's just sit and wait and see what happens at 1:30. sometimes describe my live sessions as me thinking out loud. So I just look at the charts and I say what I see. And this one, I can see that it's broken above the green line, but now it's returning to the green line. Everything else is looking good. We've got a wave up. But we've still got the red super trend. So that's contradictory, and that tells me stay away. As I said earlier, I've been looking at some of the things that Paul's been talking about. I looked at his video yesterday, one that he did yesterday. I've put the WAE, that's the water atta explosion. I put that on, and I'm sort of testing the theory out. So here we've got the explosion line, which is below the dead zone. So that's a no-no. I'm not going to get in for a buy there. It's saying that price is rising, but it's not rising enough. There's insufficient momentum, and we can see that in the candles. I'll go back through the pairs. GBP USD. Same here. The explosion line is below the dead zone, so there's nothing to tempt me in there. Price is actually still within this wedge anyway. Euro card. Price broke above the green line, but it struggled to get past the red line. As I said, it's in a wave up. There's a wave blocks. We've got the green super trend pointing upwards, but price is just struggling to get past this red line. The explosion line is above the dead zone, but we haven't quite got the momentum there. Just a matter of time. We just have to be patient. So let's look at the last pair. That first thing I'm seeing here is it's still in no man's land. It's still in the wedge. So anything else that I look at is almost irrelevant. But additional confirmation of not to get in is the the green trend line, which is flat. So that's saying consolidation. As you can see, it's consolidating here. The explosion line is above the dead zone, but again, there's insufficient volume in the market right now. Anybody got any questions whilst we're just sitting waiting for something to happen?
It is interesting, Richard, that you look at, I'm following you sort of exactly, and I'm using 8-cap and you're using FXCM, and it is amazing the difference.
Yes, as you know, I used to use 8-cap, but I found that there was a big difference between that broker chart and all the other brokers' charts. So I've changed really just to get a bit more consistency.
Yeah,
I do believe that 8-cap are having some issues, but that's sort of outside my control, outside my remit.
Let's see next.
But I feel safer using FXCM.
I'm using the same as you, Richard.
FXCM, yeah.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why I use it is it's top of the list when you look down the brokers. It's no reason other than that. You know, it's just that 8-cap is so different. They need to sort things out, I guess. Right. So whilst we've been talking, we've now got price breaking below the red line. What I'm seeing also is this green super trend line is still flat. So this super trend is same price is going up. These PSARs, the same price should be going up, but price is actually coming down. It's trying to break below this red line. Any second now, you should see price coming further down, and the PSAR will go above the price, showing that we're getting a bit of movement on that price. This candle has changed to red. It was green, it's changed to red now. So there's something happening with Euro US, but to my mind, insufficient. It's really struggling to get past that red line. I think we might have to wait until late in the session to see some price movement. I guess what's happening is that the markets are literally waiting until that speech at 3 o'clock, or the testimony at 3 o'clock, I should say. So this is, it's trying to break below the green line. It's already come below the red line. It's in that in that wedge, but it's trying to get below that. But we're in a wave up, and we've also got super trend up. So there's conflicting information coming out of those two. GBP USD. Well, that's definitely still in the wedge.
Consolidation going on, Richard.
Yeah. As I say, that wedge before the crossover, the gap between the green line and the red line is what I call no man's land, and I would never ever get into a trade whilst price was in there. It looks as if it might be trying to get above the green line. The Wada Ata is there's not a lot of volume. Not a lot of volume. We need this histogram to come above the dead zone. We need that explosion to come above the red line. GBP card. Right. Okay. So that's broken above the green line. We have got a wave up, but we've got a super trend, a red super trend. So conflicting information. This is starting to look a bit more positive. There was something I wanted to show. You notice I'm not showing the trade manager, and that's because I'm using my MacBook, and the trade manager only works on a Windows MT4. What I do when it comes to setting my stop loss is I sort of do it manually, whereas the trade manager will work out your lot size for you. I do mine manually, and I'm able to do that because I'm only looking at 4 pairs, and it's easy to remember what the lot size should be. I've actually got them written down here, and I just look over and see what my lot size should be depending on the number of pips. So I'm just going to, whilst we're waiting for something to happen, I'm going to go through that. Where economic calendar. If you go to my FX book and you go to FX calculators, you should see this position size calculator is the one that I use. So I click on that, and so I choose my currency pair, I choose my account currency, and I choose my account size. Now let's imagine I've got a $25,000 account, and I want to risk 1%. And let's say that my stop loss is going to be 10 pips. So I put that information in and I press calculate. And it tells me that if I want to risk $250, which is 1%, my lot size needs to be 2.5. That's assuming my stop loss is 10 pips. Now, if I was going to go for a stop loss of 20 pips, I just press calculate again. It tells me my lot size is 1.25. Now, I've got those lot sizes written down. I know them off by heart because I'm only looking at 4 pairs. It would probably be a bit difficult if you're looking at all 28 pairs, but that's the way I calculate my lot size. So just do that again on a different number. Let's say my stop loss is 5 pips. All the other information is the same pair, Euro USD, my account's in US dollars, 25,000, I'm risking 1%. My stop loss is 5 pips, press calculate, and I need 5 lots. And 5 lots, 5 pips will give me a loss of $250. So that's how I work out my stop loss. Any questions? It's easier if you're using the trade manager because it works that out for you automatically. Right, let's have a look at the other pairs.
You're right. It's a lot easier, Richard.
Yes.
Especially if you go and do another trade and you still at work, didn't do the lot size change for the next trade.
Yes, yeah. Oh, the trade manager is the ideal, but I'm really just sort of showing it is possible to do it manually, particularly if you're only trading a few pairs. In fact, looking at my list there, GBP USD and Euro USD, it's the same lot size across those 2 pairs. GBP CAD and Euro CAD, they're the same lot size. So I only have to remember 2 numbers. So I can get in using, if I'm working on my MacBook, I can get in and still have the risk at 1%. So this pair, GBP CAD, is not doing anything. It's starting to move sideways. It's broken above the green line, but it's not going anywhere. There's not a lot happening here either. The black line, which is my explosion line, is above the dead zone. So it's below the dead zone, and therefore I would not consider getting in. That's just an extra confirmation. These candles are green, implying we should be looking at a buy, but as you can see, the price is actually coming down. So I would not get into that trade. I'd look for more positive moves.
I'd say there seems to be a lot of stagnation at the moment on all pairs.
Yeah, if you look at Forex Factory and you look at if you click on that folder, it says high impact and expected. I think if you click on that folder, or maybe no, if you click on that folder there, it will give you some information, and it say due to testify about semi-annual monetary policy, blah blah blah. But it gives you the information about what the reason for that being high impact news. So this supporting information. So I guess the markets are waiting until that speech, partly for the movement that it'll cause on the pair, but also partly because if they want to do any kind of manipulation, they hide it behind the news. So I just untick that. So that's the reason why we've got nothing going on. There's no news. There's been nothing since 8 AM this morning on Forex Factory. So there's nothing to move the price. If we look at my FX book. It's pretty similar. Yeah, so there was a couple of low impact items at 1 o'clock, 1:30. Low impact. I don't know why that's classed as USD, because it's actually El Salvador, and this is low. There's medium impact at 3 o'clock, but that's the one everybody's waiting for. So we could be in for a slow session between now and 2 o'clock. I would take another look at the charts closer to 3 o'clock. I think that's where you might get the movement. But we'll stick with this for now, because sometimes we get a surprise. But yeah, just thinking out loud, this was coming down in price, and now these wave candles have got very small, very flat. It's starting to get slightly bigger, but not sufficiently big to get me tempted. It's trying to break above the green line, but then looking for additional confirmation. We've got the super trend, which is still red. It's flat, but it's red. I would like to see that green and below the price, and I would like to see some changes here. But GBP US dollar could well be making a move. So let me just go through the process that I would go through if I was thinking about getting in for a buy. You can see that candle is closed above the green line. So I'm now thinking, well, I could get in here. I might get in for a buy. Where would my stop loss be? Well, the first possibility is this green line here, because it's the bottom of that. You see this green dot? That's a green a bull engulfing candle. So that's the first possible stop loss. To me, it looks very close to current price. So there's an alternative here that you could wave up, very similar position. So perhaps I might go down for this one, which is an engulfing bull candle. So I might go down to there. If this changes to green, starts to go up, I'm going to do a theoretical trade just to show what the process is. So this would be my stop loss down here. It's the bottom of that engulfing candle. So I'll mark that as my stop loss.
Richard, quick question.
Yeah.
All your screenshots from this morning, I think we're on a 2-minute time frame. Do you actually go down to there to take your trade?
I did. I was this morning when I was watching them. Yes. I mean, let's have a look at, see what the difference is right now. If we drop down to the 2 minute, we're still sort of in no man's land. But you can get a slightly earlier entry on 2 minutes. Thanks for reminding me. I keep forgetting to go down to the 2 minute. But yeah, this morning when I was watching them, I think I was entirely on 2 minute time frame. So if I was getting in on this one on the 2 minute time frame, that stop loss there, which is it's a little bit too close to the actual price right now. I might need to go down to this one. I'm going to wait until price gets above the green line before I sort of mark an entry. But as I say, I can mark a stop loss because the potential stop losses are marked there from it. There, the bottom of that engulfing is a potential stop loss. So if I make that red, so potentially that's my stop loss. If I just measure the number of pips from where price is now, it's probably not sufficient. No, it's only 2 pips. So I need to go down to a lower stop loss. Let's just move it down to this one here. That's a bull engulfing candle. And that would give me, we're on the 2-minute time frame, so we'll probably be getting in above that green line somewhere around about there. And that would give me 12 to 10, 11, 12 pips stop loss. That's more like it. I mean, just to give you an idea, on the 2-minute time frame, I would never put a stop loss in of less than 5 pips. 5 pips would be the minimum I would go for. But prices, you see, prices, it's bouncing off that green line, so I'm glad we didn't get in. This is saying, well, it was saying ranging, it's changed to bullish, but price is actually going down. So it's not a time to get in. Let's have a look at another pair. Now that's above the green line, but the first thing I see there is, you see this dash, there's a dashed green line there off the top of that wick on that candle. And that's something that Kevin programmed in. That's telling me that to break structure, price would have to break above that point. It's just a handy little additional piece of information. There's a break of structure at that point. It would need to get above there. I think that just moved there. But anyway, what it's telling me is wait until price gets above that line there before you think about getting in. It's just a really handy bit of extra information. Now, price is above the green line. We've got the green super trend, but it's flat. And you see these PSARs, these green dots, which I put on, and they're below the price, but they're getting very close to price. Here, they were well below price, and price was going up. Here, they're pretty close to the price, and price is actually coming down. In fact, the PSAR has just changed. The PSAR was below the price. It's now up there above the price. And basically, the way to think about PSARs, PSAR, PSAR is parabolic, stop and reverse. So what that's saying to me is that the increase in price has now stopped and it's reversing. So there's pressure to push price down. Again, just a nice little bit of additional information that you can use to make your decisions. This now is pushing price down. Can you see how this explosion line is taking a dive downwards? And that is a red candle as opposed to lots of previous green candles. So that's telling me that price is starting to reverse. All of that is telling me. The super trend is still green, but it's flat, telling me that we're in consolidation. In fact, it's saying ranging, which is another word for consolidation. So we've got 2 PSARs above the price. This is looking like it might be coming back down. Now, with Crossfire, this can often happen. Price can go up in one direction. You can be tempted into a buy and then it'll reverse. And if this comes down below this red line, we're more likely to be getting in for a sell rather than a buy. The fact that it's really slow is due to that, the lack of news. So we need to keep an eye on that. It looks as if we'll soon be getting the super trend turning red and being above and pointing down. But it's too early to get in. But you can see it's moving now. It's changed to bearish. So there is something happening. Let's go through the pairs, see if we can get a trade. Right, so we are below the red line.
Yeah, but you got to be careful of a fake out.
Yes. That that tried to get above the green line, didn't make it. It's now come below the green line. That green line, that's a green trend line. The super trend is also green, but it's also flat. Now price is moving down. Look what's happened with the WADA ATA. Price is now above the explosion line, and the explosion line is above the dead zone. So that's saying get in for a sell. Let's do a theoretical sell. Let's get in at that point there. Let's move our stop loss to that's 5.3 pips, and I need to move this to 1-to-1. Okay, so I got in at that point. I set my stop loss at 5.3 pips, which was at the top of that engulfing candle, and I'm wanting price to come down here. I always mark my target in blue. So I just move that across. So that's why I need to know my stop losses and my lot sizes off by heart. I've got a 5 pip stop loss, Euro US. I've got a lot size of 2.5. And I'm expecting this price to come down here. Let's just review what we're seeing. We're seeing a wave down, and the waves are going down. We're seeing super trend red and pointing downwards. The PSARs are above the price, pushing price down. And the WADA ATA is also indicating we should be in for a sell. That's confirming my theory. So I'm going to look at the other pairs whilst I'm waiting for that to go. Euro card. This is in consolidation. We've got a wave down, but we've got a super trend up, although it's flat. This hasn't confirmed yet. We've got the explosion line above the dead zone, but the histogram isn't above the dead zone. We need the histogram. We need the volume to tell us to get in for a sell. Now we've got momentarily we had a super trend down. There's a start of super trend down. That's moving up above. So again, we're just doing this for fun. Short position, we get in there and we put our stop loss on that red line there. That's 5.7, 5.9 pips. And I'm going to set my risk to reward at 1.02, that's near enough. And I'm going to mark my target. I like to be able to see my target. So I'm waiting now for price to drop down there. This red zone represents a 1% loss. This green zone represents a 1% gain. Let's have a look what's going on Euro US. Haven't quite made it yet. It did wick down, then it reversed. But this is all good. This is confirming we should be getting in for a sell. This super trend is still pointing down. The wave's still saying down. Just a matter of waiting. Let's have a look at GBP pairs. Okay, so on this one, we're below the red line. So that's the red line. That looks like a stop loss that I put on before. I'd probably put the stop loss there. So I'm just going to move that. That's confusing things. Super trend down, wave down, but price is actually going up. this is looking good. But I'm not getting in on the green candle. Price is below the red line and below the green line, so we should be looking for a sell. We've got the red wave, red super trend. My stop loss would need to be that red line there, which is pretty close to current price. So I'm going to leave that for now. That's right. So we've dropped below the red line, but price is actually still going up. We've got a green super trend and an engulfing bull candle. So that's contradictory. So let's have a look at the euro pairs. Still hasn't made it. We're below the red line. We've got a wave down. We've got super trend, red super trend pointing down. And this is saying we should be in for a sell. We'll leave that. Look at euro card. Yeah, that also wicked down and then decided to go back up again. But we're well below the red line. We're also below the green line. We've got a super trend, red super trend pointing downwards. We've got a wave down. That just became a bit stronger. We maybe got in a little bit early because this histogram wasn't, well, it was above the dead zone. It wasn't quite above the, but it is now. It's getting there where we want it to be. And that one's having a bit of a retrace. You see the super trend has gone flat. And these candles here have dropped below the explosion line. At the time we got in, they were above. So we had a little bit of drawdown there. I'm still confident in this one. We've got the wave candles going down there. That one is a bit smaller than the previous one, but it's still quite a decent size wave. Let me just check what settings I've got on the wave. Right, so my because I'm basically scalping, I've got my wave input at 10. Paul's doing the long wave for some of his longer term trades, and he's put 62 in there. I started off at 5. I've moved it up to 10. I could maybe move it a little bit further, but that's my current setting, 10. So, Euro US, we've got wave down, we've got super trend now pointing downwards. The PSARs are above the price, pushing price down. This needs to move up. These candles need to move up above the, well, they need to be rising, so they need to get bigger. I'm still confident that that's going to go down. It's just very slow. Same there. Super trend down, wave down. This candle's getting bigger now. That explosion line is pointing downwards. I could do with it pointing upwards. need to mark my target there. And just move that out of the way. Oh, there's my target. So, okay. So we're not quite there. I've just noticed, I should have noticed it before, but this is now the 200 moving average. I've changed it from 55. I'm trying to conform with Paul's settings. And Paul yesterday said his moving average was 200. Can you see how price is bouncing off the 200? Price came down to the 200 moving average and then retraced. All isn't lost. It might just be a temporary retracement. Everything else is still saying sell. We've got wave down, we've got super trend down, pointing downwards. We've got PSARs above the price, pushing price down. So that might just be a temporary retracement. That nearly made it to my first target. The super trend has gone flat. Okay, just very slow today. I'm going to look at the two GBP pairs and then any final questions. I'm over time. So that's dropped. That dropped below the red line, and there was a fair number of pips in that, but we didn't get the wave down until here, this candle here. And since then it's started to consolidate. So that was a bit of a, on a 2-minute time frame, that was a big drop, but the wave down didn't occur. We couldn't have got in until there. Just mention what would happen if this reverses and goes above that green line. I would consider getting in for a buy once it got past that green line, but I'd also bear in mind this red line. I'd need to measure the gap between the green and the red line and see if there's enough room to profit. So if this does reverse, you can consider getting in above the green line, or you can consider waiting until it also gets above the red. But beware of getting trapped in that wedge. It can happen. GBP card. Again, we've price did drop, and now it's reversed.
Or you could wait till 3 o'clock.
Yes, I mean I'm going to be watching these because I think that is the high impact news, and I think that's going to affect price more than anything else. Right, so I'm just going to run through the 4 pairs and see where we are. Now that is looking like it's going in the wrong direction now. We've got an engulfing candle, bull candle. The super trend has gone down, has gone flat. So it looks as if it's going to take us out at that. So we'll have lost 1% when that hits there. We could, if we'd wanted to, we could have taken profits at that point. It wouldn't quite have been 1%. It might have been 0.75%, but we weren't to know that it was going to go off in that direction. So I'll tentatively class that as a -1. bearing in mind that
If it was a live trade, you probably got yourself out before it went negative.
yes, yeah, if I was in a live trade, to be honest, because I had such a good morning this morning, I probably wouldn't be trading this afternoon anyway. But you know, the potential was there for some profit. No shame in getting out at less than 1%. If you've got a large funded account, you know, 0.5% is still a good enough. Mind you, we're talking, we might be preempting. This is starting to make its way back down again. So we haven't been taken out. Our stop loss hasn't been
Breached.
So we'll keep an eye on that. That one has been breached. We've definitely lost 1% on that one. And there's a clue as to why it touched the 200 moving average and bounced off it. So that's we've definitely lost 1% on that one. I don't think we actually got in. No, we didn't get in on that. We didn't get in on either of the GBP pairs. They're still undecided. So, but you know, just thinking out loud again, if I've made 2% this morning and I've lost 2% this afternoon, I've broken even. The potential was there for about 12% this morning. But I suspect that in the next hour, there should be some decent moves. Just want to keep an eye on this one because this is still looking a bit tasty. We've got the PSARs below the price. We've got a bullish engulfing candle, but then we've got a bullish, so we've got a bearish engulfing candle afterwards. So we're back in profit. What you could do is move your stop loss to break even, so you cannot lose.
Except for spread.
Except your spread, yeah. Well, if you're moving your stop loss manually, you could move it to just below the break, well, just above the break even, you know, to that point there, and that would cover
Any spread.
And commission. You could move your stop loss to somewhere there, and that distance would cover your broker costs, and then you couldn't lose. As I say, there's no shame in getting out with less than 1%. So yeah, that might give you 0.3%, something like that. You might be safer taking that out than risking it.
Especially on a big account.
Yeah, on a big account, it's not to be sniffed at. I really want to call the session to a halt, but I'm wanting this to hit the target before I go.
It's teasing you, Richard.
It is, and sometimes that can be dangerous. But let's just say I've moved my stop loss. In theory, I've moved my stop loss to above break even. Therefore, I cannot lose. I can still win, but I cannot lose. I'm just watching these candles. This is now rising.
It's just touched.
Right.
Touched
Okay.
again.
Yeah, just touched. Yeah. Let's see if it. Let's watch for this next candle and see if it, because this is rising. It needs to rise above that explosion line, and then we're in for a proper sell. But yes, that did touch my my target. So I can claim today we've broken. Well, this afternoon we've broken even. We've made 1% and we've lost 1%.
Yeah.
Nothing to be ashamed of there, because the market is just not playing ball today. Well, not yet today. I think it will do. So we've got 1% on Euro USD. We've lost 1% on that one. So we're breaking even, and we didn't enter those two. That's actually starting to look a bit tasty. We've got super trend pointing down, we've got wave down, and these candles are rising. So that could become a decent sell. I'm not going to hang around. Again, super trend starting to point down. The waves are down, going down. These are starting to rise. So things are starting to look a little bit better on the GBP pairs. But I'll call it a day. So on this afternoon session, I've broken even. And because the way I trade, now that I'm back in the UK, I would always trade the early session. I prefer to make my gains in the morning and then walk away from the afternoon trades. I'm only doing these for the purpose of the live session anyway. But can you see we're now well and truly below that target, so we've definitely got 1% there. Any final questions, comments, criticisms, whatever?
No.
No.
All good.
Thank you as always, Richard.
Thanks.
I need to get to
This having stopped us out, this is going down to my target. So maybe my stop loss was too tight. Let's just think of, we went to the engulfing candle, which was, yeah, that's a reasonable stop loss to have.
How many?
It's 5.9 pips on a 2-minute time frame. So yeah,
On the 2 minute, yeah, on the 2 minute.
That's reasonable. There's not really an alternative. So yeah, that's just how Forex goes. But look how close it got to hitting my target eventually. Never mind. 1-1 lost one. We haven't lost any money.
Yep.
So thanks for jumping on. I'll be back again on Friday. Paul's back tomorrow.
Right.
I'm going to stop the recording and
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Richard.
Richard.
Awesome stuff.
Thanks, Richard.
Great information.